game on. Brought to you in part by St. Croix Rods, best rods on earth. Ardent, rule the water. Now that's why they call me the Extreme Angler. Strike King Lure Company, gearing up champions for over 40 years. This week on Extreme Angler TV. I'd say, eh? You see what I mean?
Right here, that is money right there. Those are all KVD square bills.
We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to another Extreme Angler TV. This week, bass fishing, but largemouth and smallmouth out in the open, weed beds off the bank. We're gonna get away from the fish that have been pressured. It's midsummer, we're on these cottage lakes, and a lot of guys know what they're doing these days. They catch and release, but they're pounding those spots pretty hard. So I'm gonna try to do something a little bit different that you could add to your arsenal. Get off the shorelines, get off the bank in midsummer, and find those fish. Not necessarily in 30 feet of water, 40 feet of water, 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, that are grouped up a little bit more, eating the bait, eating the crayfish with soft plastics, using the GPS, the trolling motor, my good baits, sensitive rods, and find those fish that maybe just aren't as pressured as the ones that are on the bank right behind me. Let's see if we can go do it. As for baits, you know what? I keep it real simple. When I'm vertically fishing like this in this heavy weed like that, I'm telling you, the simpler, the better. Jigs with chunks, smaller bitsy jigs, the finesse jig, little things that can slide through that weed. You know, game hog, perfect example. All those little appendagers and stuff, little tails and stuff, just goes down there and slithers through the weed, but it attracts bites. Fish see it, they want to eat it. And you know my number one bait that I've been catching some real big fish on lately, the rodent. This watercolor is semi-clear. You know, it's got a little bit of green tinge to it because of the weed beds. But you know what? Anything with green. I always try to follow that perch, bluegill, crayfish kind of theme. Seriously. I have a lot of different colors and stuff, but the themes are the same. Green, orange, a little bit of yellow. Perch, crayfish, and bluegill are my choices. So when I pick up those rodents, game hogs, little jigs and stuff, I try to stick with the colors that work for me. The thing to consider when you're fishing this kind of weed is sun at your back, see the weeds, and I'm just pitching as I drift real slow through this weed bed, but I don't want to keep staying in the trolling motor and zigzagging through it. You could spook them in 7 feet of water. They're just probably roaming through here looking for bait, eating it. But I keep drifting through. When I see the end of the weeds, then I'll just jog back up again, drift back down. So like a zigzag. Go up to the spot, drift down, fish it all, go up again, down, drift it all. So thoroughly working it back and forth, zigzagging through the weed bed and find those fish. Going up slowly, zigzagging back, going slow, putting in all the holes. And one thing is to remember that these fish, they move around this weed. They don't just sit on one spot. Unless you find a particular real thick clump that they could be on, that's fantastic. Most times, they're moving around slow, looking for bait, or eating crayfish or whatever they're eating. So the more efficient you are, we're going through it, you're gonna catch more fish. Oh. Look at this. How's that for a heavy duty hook set, folks? hit myself in the face, busted rod, and still catch a fish, eh? Well, Mr. Largemouth, the first one of the day, sitting on clumps. See that? Take some pictures of those fish. But we're gonna keep at it. Hope it didn't scarp my face too bad. Yeah, it's got a little bit on there. And we'll keep going and try to find fish on the clumps, offshore, where they eat and hunt down bait fish. Let's keep going. Like I said, go up. Your shadow's not on where you're pitching. You don't want them to think you're a big, great, big blue heron coming down and biting them in the head. And just pitch to your targets. And just keep doing that. And on these hot summer days, it's going to be a hot one. You can catch these fish off the bank, off the shore where they're pounded all day long, every day by guys. And you know I love fishing the shorelines. But some days, you get out in these weed beds, and I'm talking midsummer now. These fish are in it pretty good. See, when you do it right, you get bit. And so far we're doing it right. Fish number 2. He's not as big as fish number 1, but you know what? I'm gonna put them in the live well and call them out, because the last thing you wanna do out of confidence in your mind is that spooking fish, put them in. It's a well-known fact, when fish are schooling up, you put other ones in it, that it plays with an angler's mind. Those fish will turn off. So I'll tell you what, for now, live well, we'll call them out so they don't spook the others. Go join your buddy. So I'm just gonna keep at it. I'm gonna show you real quickly what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna fish with rodents, game hogs, flip tubes, maybe even small bitsy jigs and stuff like that. The X-Point 4-rod wide gap, you see that? It's got a real nice bite to it, but it's not overly big, so it doesn't ruin the presentation of the bait. And that game hog, because I know there's smallmouth in this lake too, it just sits like that with a tour grade striking sliding tungsten sinker. It just slides and take the nose of it. See the bait like that? I just slowly, just barely on the tip. That's it. That's all I want. Nothing more, nothing less. Doesn't impede the bite, but you're not constantly taking off weeds. This way it just keeps your focus and concentration on what you're doing. These offshore weed beds for largemouth and hopefully some smallmouth. Let's get some. When I first started out, I had a 3/16 sliding tungsten sinker. But you know what? The wind's picked up just a little bit more than what I like. Not for fishing wise, but having that bait fall exactly where I want it to fall when I see those little small clumps that are right in front of me. That's why I'm pitching real close. If I see something that's a little bit different in the weed bed, that's, you know, the old traditional spot on the spot, that's what it is. But if my sliding sinker is too light, the wind takes it and pendulum goes off the spot. So I pick up the next size up, which is a 1/4. Now, rarely any difference in the size. It's amazing, a tungsten. Nice small profile, but from 3/16 to a 1/4, it can make a big difference in putting that bait precisely on the spot you want it to go. So put the 3/16 back, take your line, and you wonder, okay, let's that worm weight slide? I do. You know why? Because that bait's got way more action, in my mind, when it can just pendulum down. Even when it goes down, the weight goes down to the bottom, the bait follows, the fish can see that and track it. But this way I'm fishing down near the bottom where I feel those fish are in these weeds. There's a smallmouth in the weeds. Hey, look at him fight, hey? Look at him scrap. Wow. Look at the, and this is what you gotta do real quick. Waypoint, once, twice. So you remember where you were. So you can circle around. Bring in the salad with the smallmouth. He's not a big smallmouth, but you know what? You see how they scrap in the weeds? Look at the weeds I ripped up and stuff. Look at all the cabbage you brought in. It's just, I tell you, fun to catch them in this stuff. As you go along, until you find a little pack of wolves. Sometimes just one. Again, put him in there with his friends, let him go. You find one, you find more. But you have to just go around and around and around. Sometimes it sounds nuts going around the same areas. But like I said, those fish do travel in this stuff. Unless you find a pocket, a little hump or depression, an edge, something that they really focus on, they just travel slow. So you got to do the same. The wind's died down a little bit more. I've gone to a smaller tungsten weight again to let that thing fall. Maybe get those fish that maybe were suspended and not directly on the bottom. So let's keep going and see, hopefully I can get some real nice ones like first thing this morning. Whoa! El Pikey-o! Bro! You see what happens when you fish amongst pike? Friendo. You're right in the really good spot in a weed bed where you've caught fish, you're on your waypoints, and there's no wind pushing you. Don't go on the trolley motor. Just drift. See that? I'm just going to real slow drift. I'm not doing anything, but what I can do is put it into all those little holes that I had to drift by this morning when this wind was pushing me through. So now I can just slowly fish it, let the fish look at it. There's loaded full of perch in here. Look at this stuff. Let me show it to you. You think, okay, looks kind of brown and stuff. It's cover, but it's brown, but it's still healthy. It's real tough. Fish sit in that stuff. It attracts the perch, attracts the minnows, and in turn the game fish. So if you're always just looking out for that traditional green milfoil, cabbage, or coontail, it's not always the case. Look for the stuff that the fish are holding to. If it looks brown on top, maybe it got sunburnt. Down below, it's green. Look for it, fish use it, so should you. Come on, there has to be a big one in here. I'd say, eh? You see what I mean? Wow, eh? Look at him. Come here, you. Oh, he's wrapped around. Look at him. Look where the hook is. Look where he is. Open your mouth. Tough smallmouth. Look at him. Now waypoint the spot again. Look where it is. You put it in those right spots. Look on how wide he is too, eh? That's a pretty nice fish. But you stick with it, you're gonna get them. I told you how they roam around. They roam around. You gotta go, even when you're sweating and hot. Let's put him in the live well. He's all bruised up. He's an old boy. Put him in there with his largemouth cousin. Going around, looking for small little patches of weed. You find it, but you know what I'm looking for? Is the weed that's on humps sometimes. Not just on the generic flat, but like a little bit of a hump or a depression, a little bit deeper, a little bit shallower. But I've been fishing all around here, 12, 13 feet. Come up to about 8 feet and 7 feet. That's where those fish are, those bigger ones. They come in looking for the minnows and stuff. Your bait goes in there, they see it, that's what happens. So, let me get my heart rate right back again, fix up my bait, catch another one. You see the beauty of the sonar? I got on the front and the back. So if I drift off too much, if it gets choppy and stuff, I can drive around, but I put the waypoints on this one, on the HES 10 and the HES 8. So when I'm working the areas, I can pinpoint the fish on that one. This one, I can return to them if I get turned around, or if I want to go down, drift, go back to see where I caught a fish. So I just caught one. There's a waypoint where I caught one earlier in there. So put a waypoint right here on this weed bed. And it's number 105. So remember, 105 is the big smallmouth. Let's keep going. They just do not let it go. Strike king, game hogs, rodents, rage craws, whatever it is, coffee scent, there's a reason why they call it perfect plastics, because they are. Designed by the most elite pro staff in all of fishing. And you see how they catch fish. Big time! I just missed one right there. I kid you not. It was going down, it was the same bite as the last two fish that were big, bronze, and beautiful. But he missed it. You know why? Because they're savages. They swim along Okay, composure, ready? Okay, take a deep breath. The biggest thing is having confidence in your bait, your rod, reel, line, hook, all of it. Fish in the offshore clumps, taking your time and making it work. Now it's almost quitting time, but I would love to get one more or two more fish, maybe a real big one. But you put in your time on the offshore clumps, away from the shore banging and bank banging, bank busting crew, there's a good chance you're gonna get a real big one, or a bunch, or just a whole variety of different fish and have fun. For me, fishing's fun, even though it is my job. Oh my God, look at the size of smallmouth. Oh God, no. Look at the size of him. Oh my God. That's a big smallmouth, eh? Look at him, jumping and going nuts all over the place. Where's he hooked? Through the nose? Let's see. Oh, look at him. Wow. How big is that, folks? How big is that on Extreme Angler Fishing Isolated Clumps? I'll guarantee you that fish is pushing B-I-G, big low. Look at him. That looks like a Lake Simcoe pig, doesn't it? In the live well for some pictures, but I'm telling you, look at him. Where do you think we are? Lake Simcoe? Hey, look at that. That is an absolute giant. When he hit it, it felt like a bomb went off. When I set and he jumped, that's what makes me excited about fishing. That's what makes you excited about fishing, because I tell you, when you catch them like that, and it all comes together, catching them, it's been a blast. I got one more weed bed that I think I can get a decent smallmouth out of, but other than that, how am I gonna beat that? Woo! Woo! Boom. 4-rod hook, right there. Tungsten sinkers, match exactly what I've been doing. 3/16. You go there, and the piece de resistance is a little game hog. Stick with the color that's catching. Bama bug. Got all kinds of them in here. You know what I do sometimes? Take 2 or 3 like this, put them in my pocket when I'm on good stuff, so I just can keep fishing. If they rip it off, so what? That's why you have lots of baits, folks, right here. That's the reason why. You buy 1 pack, you're catching fish, you run out, what happens? No baits, no fish. You have lots of stock, you're gonna keep catching fish because you got lots of baits. See that? I mean, you find those subtle little spots, and this is what you get. Oh boy, Mr. Small Jaws hiding in the weeds. Look at that hook penetration. X point. Wow. Look at that. Just a nice fat body. Look at the height on them, eh? They're made for scrapping those fish. Put them in a live well, then let them both go, take a picture. But you know what? It just goes to show you, you see, not a genius, not a professor, but a fisherman. If my spots are getting pounded, little fish are in those spots, come out, deeper water, only in 6 to 8 feet of water, and look where those fish went. Oh boy, let's put them in there for a picture. So overall, been a success. Really hot out. It's about 2:30. It's getting on, but I had a blast. Get off my regular shoreline stuff, come out to deeper stuff, dunk, swim it, but close to me, caught those fish. Next time you're out, your favorite lakes or a new lake, everyone's busting the bank. Get out, bust and move out to deep stuff. You're gonna catch them too. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Extreme Angler TV. Get hooked, stay hooked. Snag Proof, the world's finest weedless lures. Fischoflage for love of the sport. Daiichi, bleeding red hooks. Catch us at ExtremeAnglerTV.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.